Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I wanted to take a closer look at the second Dragon Quest crossover banner with Zack and Seph. On his outfit, Zack has physical and magic ward, which increases his defenses by 20%, so that is very nice, and I honestly think this should be the standard, especially for all limited banners. But then the bottom R ability increases his fire ability damage by 30%, physical ability damage by 20% when in max stance, as well as 15% HP. And there is nothing to say here. It's a 1.5 Arcanum with increased defenses, so it's top tier Arcanum outfit for a DPS character. And now Zack's new weapon ends at Obi-10 130. It has 672 physical attack and very nice R abilities with 46 physical attack and 56 fire potency, which is increased, and this is very valuable. And it also has extra boost slots, and lastly the command ability deals 1120% physical fire damage to a single enemy, but it also applies 30% fire weakness for 1 minute with the exception of bosses that resist fire. And it also increases magic defense for allies, and it's mid per cast and high potency is max. But also at OB6 it still deals 940% physical fire damage, which is more than fine because 940 is big PP and you still get the same magic defense buff and fire weakness. And in my opinion, this weapon at OB6 will be very good already. But honestly, I think this weapon is amazing. It's very similar to Vincent's half-year anniversary weapon, but here you can constantly apply fire weakness, not just upon first use, so effectively you can turn any boss into a fire boss as long as it doesn't resist fire. And it's also a big PP 1120% fire weapon with increased R ability points and 50% Arcanum, so now Zack is the top fire DPS. But that's also not everything, because he can buff magic defense for allies, and yes, it's mid per cast, but as DPS he will be spamming this attack the whole time, so you'll have constant high bouncy MDef buff on your team, and MDef buff is one of the most limiting buffs because most battles require it, and it's still very rare when we get such weapon. Without camera, Ares still doesn't have one, but now with Zack you don't have to worry about that, at least. And then you can pair him with supporters and you can get Enfeeble and most other debuffs on the boss. It's incredibly good kit for Zack, and it'll be very good for fire battles or any boss that doesn't resist fire, and you can just turn him into a fire boss and it should be a much easier battle with Zack. And now Sephiroth's outfit, and for some very weird reason he has magic attack on the outfit, the same R ability we have on weapons and R ability we haven't been seeing on outfits for over a year, and now it's always either potency or defense or some other much more useful abilities. But then the bottom R ability is Lightning Arcanum that increases lightning ability damage by 30%, magic ability damage by 20% when in max stance, and HP by 15%, so it's a standard 1.5 Arcanum R ability here. But honestly, I am a bit disappointed with Sephiroth. Yes, Lightning Arcanum R ability is standard, but that magic attack makes no sense. We stopped seeing that in summer last year because physical or magic attack on outfits seems most useless, and increased defenses or even potency seems much more useful and better. We can equip a weapon with either physical or magic attack and elemental potency, and we get boosts to both, and many of those weapons have increased potency or ability points, so it's even better for us. But here, magic attack is so weird and honestly disappointing, as Sephiroth's weapon already has 46 magic attack points, so with those 15% he is way over the cap, and standard 15% of 20% to defenses would have been much more useful here. And now Sephiroth's new weapon, and at Obi-10 1-3, it has high 696 magic attack, standard magic attack with 46 points, and increased lightning potency with 56 points, triangle Sujo boost slot, and lastly the command ability deals 800% magic lightning damage to all enemies. But when Sephiroth is above 50% HP, it deals 1.2 more damage, so with that multiplier it's 960% damage. And it also increases physical attack with mid potency per cast, but max potency is high, and if Sephiroth is above 50% HP, again, it also buffs magic attack for the whole team with mid potency, and max potency is high. And both buffs and debuffs last for 30 seconds, and initially they start with low potency per cast, while mid is max, and then at OB6 it upgrades a tier into mid and high. And at OB6 the C ability deals 670% damage, so with that 1.2 multiplier it deals 800%, so that's not bad at all. However, in order not to lose that multiplier, you'll need to keep Sephiroth above 70% HP, and in my opinion 50% HP is fine, but 70% it's where it gets tricky, and it's very easy to lose that buff. But for AoE battles, it'll be a very nice weapon as long as you can keep Sephiroth above that 50% HP, because yes, keeping a character above 70% HP is much harder, but most harder battles have a single boss, so personally I would have preferred this to be a similar weapon to Cloud's, and it would just have a much stronger single target multiplier. But yes, 800% plus 1.2 is very decent, and it puts you at 960%, and with 5 or 6 C ability brand, it will upgrade it into a bit over 1000% C ability damage, which is very nice for especially for an AoE weapon, even single target weapon. Tifa's old Monster Hunter weapon deals 940% and also buffs her magic attack, so this one is slightly more powerful and also has a team buff and AoE, and he also gets physical attack debuff. However, Vincent's Halloween weapon from last year deals 940% plus 1.2, so it's 1128%, so biggest PP weapon for magic lightning. But Sephiroth has access to 40% exploit weakness and plus for magic attack with Genji buff as well, and he also gets extra 15% damage from the outfit. So I would say both Sephiroth and Vincent weapons should be doing similar numbers. So I think Zack has gotten the best set out of this whole Dragon Quest crossover. Then Cloud got the second best, and Sephiroth is the most underwhelming out of those 3 DPS banners. And I'm not comparing them with Aerith because it's a support weapon, so that's different. But Sephiroth's set is not bad, but compared to what these two got, it just feels much weaker. Not that much, but it's hard to beat a big PP weapon that applies fire weakness and also gives you a crucial MDEF buff, or a big PP weapon that can do both AoE and top single target damage while also applying Enfeeble and debuffing magic attack. And then there is this magic attack ability on Sephiroth's outfit, which is also a bit disappointing as well. But like I said, it's not a bad set for Sephiroth, but just Cloud and Zack got top tier ones, especially Zack. And also Zack with Cloud are for the dungeon ranking, while Seph will be for the guild battle. And as soon as they showed us that Event Slime will be the guild battle boss, and I checked its stats and immunities, I expected this guild battle to be Magic Lightning and Seph to get this exact weapon, because it's another character boss, and so far when we had character bosses, we will always get their new weapon as banner. And Seph had this exact weapon in Escalation, so to me it was guaranteed that this is exactly what he's getting. But this is just my opinion on this banner and the gear we have gotten, and I would also love to hear what you think about it. But yeah, I think both banners are very good, and you just have to choose what weapons you want to get more, because both are double character banners, and that means we have much less guaranteed slots to get copies for both, and you just have to pray for a good banner luck. And we are also just before the anniversary, so pulling is so much harder because those are limited banners, and we'll get 4 more, and they will be limit break banners, because anniversary is always limit break. And to be honest, I see it similar to last year. In summer we started to get power creep, and that was the biggest turning point. And this year is very similar. Power creep happened in summer, and while DPS damage remains the same, which is still very nice because it doesn't outright just trash all their DPS weapons anymore, but all those new banners are condensing abilities so much. So, well, I might be completely wrong. I just expect more banners like those we are getting, but not another power creep on top of that. But also let's not forget that we'll still get Naraki's limit break banner, and I expect it to be released for the guild battle. Maybe something more, I'm not sure, because August barely just started and this Dragon Quest crossover is already over. And we have exactly a month left until the anniversary, so it's very confusing. But yeah, if you're going to pull best of luck, if you're skipping and saving for the anniversary, I fully understand. It's very tough right now, and also it's very worrying when I look at the banner lineup for the next few months. And yeah, I already pulled on this banner and it really wasn't kind to me at all, but I have the video out soon. But yeah, so it will be all then. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.